Okay, what's going on, guys? I figured I'd do another one of these videos where I answer some of the questions from the YouTube community. I am waiting to train right now. Actually, to be completely honest, I'm waiting for my liniment to heat up so I can start training. And before I answer some of these questions here, I just saw a friend of mine, Brian Carroll, just made a video on YouTube and my name was in the title. I didn't look at it, so I assume it's good, but knowing Brian, it could go either way. Either way, go check him out, support his channel. All right, so a week or two ago, whatever it is, I asked on the YouTube community just for random questions that I can answer here and there whenever I have the time to do something like this. So this will be interesting because I don't have my glasses to be able to read these very well. And I'm just going to zip through them and just stop anywhere and see what this is. So this is, what does the fox say? The fuck does that even mean? All right, I'm gonna cheat because this make it more interesting. What does the fox say? I don't know how to answer that. Sorry, man. All right, so random scroll, stop. Is elitefts where you would imagine it would be when you started the business? Has it progressed slower, faster than expected? Where do you foresee the company being in 20 years? It's 3 questions. Is it where I imagine it would be? No, not even close to where it is. Has it progressed slower or faster than expected? I think the answer to that would obviously be slower. Outside of 2020, we've still have never had one year where we've experienced more than 10% growth rate. Most years are like 5%. 2020 was like 15%. So no, we have not been a dynamically growing company. That's for fucking sure. It'd be nice to happen. I still have faith that at some point in time I'm going to have that magical year where your sales double. It's just been 22 years. It hasn't happened fucking yet. Is it what I expected? I'm going to separate that from the financial growth because the reason I started this was to provide free education, strength training and education to everybody. So the whole live, learn, pass on. That's the reason why this company started. It's a big part of the reason why it started. 90% of the reason why it started was for that. So the products in the store has always been a way to be able to support the free content. So 2 ways to look at that. Should I have created the revenue first and then use the profit from the revenue to provide the free content? Looking back, if I'm to be completely honest, yes, that would have been a way better way to go about doing this, because giving away what many would consider your greatest asset, which is the education, is not really the smartest thing to do in business and could potentially be why we've had such a slow growth rate over all the years. The other side of that could be it's also why we've been around for 22 years. So that is what it is. I didn't and still don't want to convolute the message of what the aim of the company is, the live, learn, pass on, by selling a lot of programs and services, which is going to bias the educational content that we're trying to put out. So the exchange has kind of always been, if you guys appreciate the content, if you like the content, understand the content is only being provided by the sales that we generate for that. The biggest hiccup for that, if you follow the site and if you follow me, the greatest hiccup for that was during the pandemic, where we had to get more competitive because we were not getting sales. And during that time period, and even now, my position on this has shifted a little bit, because not a whole lot of people give a fuck about free content. They really don't, or they see the free content as being devalued. And that's, I understand how that is, where if you look at a lot of the content that I'm specifically putting out and then compare that to content that people charge an extremely high amount for, I'd put it up against that any day. But in the perception of most people in the market, they're going to see it as not as valuable because it is free. So that's where I go back and say, hey, if I was to do this all over again, I would 100% do it differently, because we would be able to produce even more content if we had more profit. If we had 4 times the sales we have now, I could only imagine how much free content we could put out. But you're kind of handcuffed when, you know, a huge percentage of all your net revenue is going into content. So I'm kind of talking in circles with that now. But the simple answer to that is it what I expected after 22 years? Yes, because the aim is still the same. We're still doing what I started this to do. Had I known at the end of 2 decades, you know, I'd essentially still be making the same personal revenue I was 20 fucking years ago, I would have gone about it a little bit differently. Do I regret it? No. You know, can I change it? Kinda. Do I want to? I don't fucking know. So that's kind of what that is. And I'm not going to be completely upfront and honest about what the strategic plans for the business are moving forward. That would be fucking stupid. All right, so I got locked out of the phone. All right, so let's go to a different question. Nobody gives a fuck about that one. I may not even post this. How many minutes is this? 6 minutes. A lot of people don't give a shit about the business stuff. All right, so here we go. All right. Would you carry my child? No. What? Carry your child? The fuck does that mean? Would you carry my child? Well, I can't get pregnant. I don't know. In today's world, maybe I can. Who the fuck knows? But I can't. Can I pick? I'm kind of confused there too. I'm married. Been married forever. So. All right. So swipe, 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 swipe. Stop. Where did washed up meathead come from? Is it like somebody called you that? No, no. I'm washed up meathead came from the fact that I am fucking a washed up meathead. I've been a meathead my entire life. I don't see that as being a bad thing. People have called me way worse than a fucking washed up meathead. That's, to me, I take pride in that, you know, so I don't see it as a bad thing. You know, anybody that gets called a meathead, take that as a badge of honor. Why not reverse grip bench press, especially for us old guys with fragile shoulders? It's not a bad exercise. I used to do tons of reverse grip bench presses actually before I came to Westside. Thought they were one of the best builders for my bench press. The reverse grip bench press and close grip bench press and incline press were 3 what I felt were the best builders of my bench before embarking on my conjugate Westside experience. Now, every time I try to do it, it fucking hurts my shoulder worse than a regular bench. Now, if I use our angle grip bar, which I originally was going to call the reverse grip bar, but we decided to not use that name because it kind of targets it to be only used for one exercise. But that's why I actually had the bar made. I don't think we've sold a lot of them either. I bet in all the years we sold like 40. I mean, we haven't sold that many of it, but I wanted to have a bar that had a slight angle in it that would allow me to almost have a reverse grip bench press, kind of close to the same angle that what you would find on a curl bar. I do that. Actually, I may do that today because it's been a long time since I've done it. So maybe I'll use that for my speed work today and see how that goes. So I don't think it's a bad thing. The phone keeps closing, man. I took the phone from the content team. So that's where I'm looking at these questions at it, because I'm filming this on my phone and I'm trying to read the questions, and you can't look at community questions on an iPad. So I swipe this phone from the media team, which they really don't use anyhow, and my Face ID doesn't work, so I need to change that. And a fucking thing keeps closing. Elite, there we go. All right. So obviously this is not edited. This is just me sitting here at a fucking table talking to my phone, looking at another phone with my iPad sitting right here that I can't look at the questions on. So this is a glimpse into my real life. How to increase pull-ups in his experience, or how to prioritize them if you can only do 3. All right, actually 3 people responded, so this will be pretty cool. Google Russian fighter pull-up program. I've not looked at that, so I can't speak one way or another on that. They asked Dave, not you. Man, I don't, if somebody asks a question and somebody else can answer it for that person, fine, who cares? Let them answer it. The most important thing is having that person get their question answered. It's not a bad thing. And I should step back. Maybe he's not posting that as a bad thing either, but that's why I don't like looking at comments on social media. Just trying to help a dude. I thought, see, the reason I opened this up is I thought somebody was actually going to try to help this guy out, but all they're kind of doing is like ragging on the dude, except for actually another one person saying, look that up. You can already do 3 pull-ups, so that's a starting place. There's a lot of different ways to progress this and to go about this. I'm sure if you search online, you can find several. What I would have you do is just try to do 1 every single day, or every time you have access to be able to do 1. So if you have a pull-up bar at home, try to do 1 every day, and then just progressively over a period of time. If it feels good, do 2. If it doesn't feel good, just do 1. And just the consistency is what we're talking about here. So the same way if it was a push-up or another body weight movement, it becomes a little bit different if you can't do 1 rep. And then that's where things can get a little strange, because the assisted dip chin type of machines, I've never really seen those help anybody be able to do 1. Bands hanging from a rack to be able to help. I've seen some success with that, but not as much as what you would think. I've seen greater success with people doing eccentric only type pull-ups, or yielding. So get in your, get up to the pull-up bar, is cheat your way up there, and then just hold in different positions. And when you hold in those different positions, just try to think that wherever you hold, you're going to strengthen that position, say 10, 15 degrees plus or minus wherever you're at. So try to hold in far enough positions away from each other that you're getting pretty close to the full range of motion, and progress through that way. And the frickin' phone closed again. I should have looked at this before I did this. And it's got fucking 6 it's a 6-digit password. All right, so let's go 1 more, then I'm gonna, that my linement's starting to work now. Okay. What's the best lesson you learned at Westside? The importance of being audible ready, the importance of being able to pivot your training based upon how you feel for that day, and diagnosing exactly how you feel on that day. Do you feel a certain way on that day because of accumulated fatigue, or do you feel a certain way on that day because you just don't want to be there? This is probably a question that I could go into a lot more depth on. I'll just leave it at that so it doesn't become too lengthy, because this thing's already 15 minutes and my linement's firing up, and it's time to do reverse grip angle bar speed work with chains. There you go. Out.